Alright, what's up everyone? This is Jake here and this is Steve Roselle.
How's it going?
And we're at McAfee Ski Shop in Vernon, New Jersey. And in this short video we're going to be talking about boots, which ones to maybe consider, and which ones to maybe kind of lean against and why. So, in your hand, what do you have, Steve, right there?
So right here I have Technica Mach 1 full-fledged race boot with a 90 flex. This is, it's not your stiffest flex in the world, but this is, your high-end junior race boot. I mean, in an adult race boot, you'd probably see a flex of like 120, 130 on some of the World Cup athletes. Nice and stiff, so it's nice and reactive when you're flexing into your turns. It's going to be nice and reactive when you're going edge to edge. And it even has like a leather liner, so your foot is as tight as possible when it's inside of that. And that's really due because the skiers that are skiing this boot, they want to turn faster than everyone else in the pack. So they need, just stiff, fast, aggressive, expert style ski boot, which is a great thing, if you're trying to beat everyone and have the fastest time down the hill. But if you're jumping on rails, you're hopping into the park, you're definitely going to want something a little bit more comfort oriented, that's still a performance fit, but that's not just going to bang your heels every time you're coming down off of a big jump and anything like that. Also, the way you flex the boot is a little bit different. So you'll see most freestyle ski boots usually will have 3 straps. And you go, well, that's 3 straps, this is 4 straps, what's the big deal? It's just the way, when you're flexing your boot, you're causing different pressure points. So a freestyle skier, you'll see 3 straps. It's because they don't want all that pressure. They want a little bit of that relief. So that's why you'll see 3 buckles. You also see a lot of freestyle boots putting a little plastic tongue, I guess you'd call it like your boot tongue right in front of there, and that's just for flex. It's going to give you a nice clean flex across the board.
Yeah, and you can get different flexes with that too. I remember, so some of the freestyle boots you guys know to look out for is going to be the Dalbellos. These are the Dalbello Elmore 2s. I rode these 2 years ago, and then this past year I rode the Dalbello Rampages, which they're a pretty similar boot. There's nothing drastically different about them. To me, it was just honestly, I was able to get them pretty cheap. The other boots you might see a lot of is the full tilts, and then I think K2 makes a boot.
Yep.
Other than that, though, there really aren't a ton of choices with freestyle boots. But really one of the big things you're going to see with these is the straps up top are going to be a little bit different, and then the intuition liners are going to be a big thing. And the reason those are a big thing is because people will say they prevent shin bang. That is such a lie. Do not listen to them. No boot will prevent shin bang. I actually just made a video on how to do that, and it has nothing to do with your boot. I wouldn't say nothing, but the majority of it has to do with the fact that you land back seat all the time, and you're flexing your shin in a curve, you're hurting it and your shin splinting it. The boot can help, and it can definitely help keep your foot stable in there, but if you keep landing back seat, there's no shin bang prevention.
And if you have too big of a boot, you're going to get shin bang all day.
So yeah, just on the off topic, not on the exact boot, I would say boots are actually one of the biggest things you have to worry about when you come to ski gear, because you need to make sure they fit the best possible way. And so how would you recommend fitting a boot to someone?
Well, when you first get a ski boot out of the box or you take a look at it, you'll kind of see that it doesn't have any normal size to it.
Yeah.
Like the centimeter, how long your foot is. But that's kind of the exact, like if you measure, I measure a 27.5. I could sometimes jam my foot into a 26.5, but 27.5 is really the right size boot for me. That means my foot's not moving around at all, and I'm filling the boot up with volume, 100%. Because if your foot can actually shift in your ski boot, you're gonna bang your toes around.
Yeah, you're gonna get toe bang, maybe break some nails, end up with purple toes.
Exactly.
So actually, Steve over here is the first person that helped me out when I had boot problems. I used to ride. It was a Nordica double 6 ski boot, I'm pretty sure. It was like a 27.5 or 28. I got it at a ski swap super cheap, and I was stoked on them, and I put them in. They fit comfortably. I had a lot of room. I was like, comfortable ski boot, who would have thought, right? Yeah. And then I remember a year later, I had a lot of shin bang, and I was the one that fell into the whole idea that a full tilt with an intuition liner was going to solve my problems. But it didn't, and Steve over here recommended, they had a pair of full tilts that were black and red, and they gave them to me. They were 26.5, and I was like, dude, there's no way. These aren't going to fit. Like, they're so small. My foot's jammed in here. I actually went skiing one day with them, and I only skied for 30 minutes before I realized my foot's numb and I can't ski. So I came back, and Steve got me my boots heat molded, and they punched my toe out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I wanted to sleep in my boots after that. They were so comfortable, and it made the biggest difference in the world. So, I mean, just my recommendation is to get your boots heat molded, get them adjusted to fine tune your foot, because it literally made the biggest difference.
It's like I always tell people, it's like tires on a car. Like, you have a really nice pair of skis, great bindings on those skis, and then people will cheap out on the boot, or they won't care so much about the boot. But you're in the boot all day, so if your feet are killing you all day, you're not going to have a good time.
Doesn't matter
you're
how
not
much
going to try as good of tricks. And, you know, it's just like a whole entire
chain of events that
chain
happen.
of events, exactly. So if you take some time and work on your boots, it's something like you should stand in them for an hour before you go skiing in them and go, where are the hot spots? And usually with a heat mold, you can get rid of some of those hot spots. But it's kind of like, you know, it's breaking in a good pair of jeans or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, once you get the right pair, you're like, good. So I'll wear those every single day. I don't need a new one for the next 3 years. So it's definitely a great investment.
Absolutely. That's the
to
one
work on the
thing,
boots.
like growing up, I definitely didn't have, you know, a ton of money to bust on skis, bindings, and boots. And so I understand a lot of guys are probably sitting there saying, oh, I can't do all that. I can't get a, you know, custom boot and everything. But if I just had to say, you know, which things to prioritize, it would be get a ski that you can ski on that's the right size. That's a big thing.
Definitely.
And then get a boot that fits well. And it doesn't even have to be the nicest shell, but get a liner that fits you right and that your foot feels comfortable in, because if you're constantly unbuckling your boots and like riding with half the buckles down and not half the ones down, you're going to end up having too much wiggle room in there. Not only are you making injury more prevalent, you're also making it harder for yourself, because on rails, if there's movement in your foot, that means it's a delayed reaction to how you're going to pedal and how you're going to spin and stuff like that.
Yep.
So that's one of the biggest things I'd prioritize, is just making sure your boot fits right.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, this is honest, you know, ski shop guy talk. Your boot's probably not going to be perfect the first day you ski in it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little bit that you got to work on. And also, sometimes just, if you're riding the ski boot with the traditional footbed that's in it, it's okay. But when you pull that footbed out, you'll see there's not a lot to it. Some people choose to throw in a different footbed, you know, something generic that they find at the store, or they go to the local ski shop. We also do full-blown custom footbeds, so it actually perfectly articulates with the bottom of your foot. And that, you know, the support of your arch can relieve so much pain throughout the day if you actually, you know, your foot's properly supported in your ski boot.
And I know not all you guys are diehard skiers out there that ski like an insane amount of hours a day, but there were just some days I remember going to Mountain Creek. My parents would drop me off at literally 8 in the morning, and we had night skiing, so they'd pick me up at 10 at night. So like a 14-hour day, you're gonna want a comfortable boot. Definitely. So and you got to be careful too, because if you do get the Intuition liner and get it molded, I did realize after 1 year of riding on those full tilts, while I loved them for that time, they got packed out. My foot was in them so much that, you know, you start to create room, because you start to compress it and widen it.
Exactly.
And so, you know, for me, the timeline on a boot's going to be about a year, but that's because I ski over 100 days a year. So for you, you don't need to get a new pair every year unless you know, start to pack out and it starts to get uncomfortable.
Yeah, and sometimes you can even just get the liner itself.
Yeah, a new liner. If you kept the shells of your boots, you do have to be careful though, while we're talking about it. On the bottom, if you have the these plates down here, and you walk a lot on gravel and stuff, you're gonna want to keep an eye on that, because if these get worn down so much, like if you can tell here at all, they're starting to get worn down. But if you were,
it's a brand new one.
Yeah, so that's the important thing, is that's gonna keep you in your binding. If these are worn down too much, you're creating risk for yourself, because your binding's not gonna be able to hold you in that much. So that's the other reason you do have to be careful riding in boots for more than a year if you do ride quite a bit, because these will get worn down if you're not replacing the plates. These ones you can replace, but I know some boots you can't. So just something to keep an eye on. You know, just trying to make sure that safety is probably one of the priorities.
Yeah, and the thing, like, you know, look, you take out a newer Solomon boot right here, and you'll see they're actually rubberizing the toe.
Yeah,
so that actually, you can actually, you know, have a little bit more grip when you're hiking in them, and you know, they're made to kind of wear out, so you can pop them off and you can throw a new pair on.
Yeah. So that's just something to keep in mind with boots. Like I said, I'm riding the Dalbellas right now, but I've been on full tilts and they're awesome. The flex of the tongue's kind of up to you. I ride a pretty medium stiffness, nothing too crazy. I tried when I had shin bang using super soft tongues, and it honestly didn't it almost made it worse, maybe because I was playing mind tricks on myself. But the only way to really heal that is just to like take breaks and ice your shins.
Yeah.
And try not to do tricks where you land really backseat. But yeah, I've been there. I'm telling you, no, I'm not making this stuff up.
It's kind of like, it's some of a growing pain.
Yeah, it is that too. You know, I was also just becoming a teenager. But I guess that'll be it for this video. Thank you guys so much, and that's it for
appreciate it.
boots.